All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila Chapter 21. The opulence and sweetness of Lord Sri Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the 21st chapter. In this chapter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully describes Krishna Loka, the spiritual sky, the causal ocean, and the material world which consists of innumerable universes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then describes Lord Brahma's interview with Krishna at Dwarka, and the Lord's curbing the pride of Brahma. There is also a description of one of Krishna's pastimes with Brahma. In this chapter, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrta has presented some nice poems about the pastimes of Krishna and Krishna's super excellent beauty. Throughout the rest of the chapter, our intimate relationship, Sambandha, with Krishna is described. Text 1. Agatyeka gatim natva hinartarika sadhakam Sri Chaitanyam likham yasha madhur yasvarya shiksharam. Offering my obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let me describe a particle of his opulence and sweetness. He is most valuable for a fallen conditioned soul bereft of spiritual knowledge, and he is the only shelter for those who do not know the real goal of life. Text 2. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 3. Sarvasvarupe Radhama Paravyoma Dame Pratak Pratak Vaikuntha Sabha Nahika Ganane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, all the transcendental forms of the Lord are situated in the spiritual sky. They preside over spiritual planets in that abode, but there is no counting those Vaikuntha planets. Text 4. Satha Sahasra Ayuta Laksha Koti Yojana Eka Eka Vaikuntera Vistara Varnana. The breadth of each Vaikuntha planet is described as 8 miles multiplied by 100. By 1,000, by 10,000, by 100,000, and by 10 million. In other words, each Vaikuntha planet is expanded beyond our ability to measure. 5. Sabha Vaikuntha Pyapaka Ananda Chinmaya Arishara Sadasvarya Purna Sabahaya. Each Vaikuntha planet is very large, and each is made of spiritual bliss. The inhabitants are all associates of the Supreme Lord, and they have full opulence like the Lord himself. This is how the Vaikuntha planets are all situated. 6. Ananta Vaikuntha Eka Eka Deshe Yara Sei Paravyoma Gamera Tikaru Vistara. Since all the Vaikuntha planets are located in a certain corner of the spiritual sky, who can measure the spiritual sky? 7. Ananta Vaikuntha Paravyoma Yara Dalashreni Sarvopari Krishna Loka Karni Karagani. The shape of the spiritual sky is compared to a lotus flower. The topmost region of that flower is called the whorl, and within that whorl is Krishna's abode. The petals of the spiritual lotus flower consist of many Vaikuntha planets. 8. Dehi mata saraisvarya stana avatara Rama Shiva anta napaya jiva konchara. Each Vaikuntha planet is full of spiritual bliss, complete opulence in space, and each is inhabited by incarnations. If Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot estimate the length and breadth of the spiritual sky in the Vaikuntha planets, how can ordinary living entities begin to imagine them? 9. Koveti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman Yogesvarotir Bhavatas Sri Lokyam Vavakatam Vakativa Edeti Vistaryan Kridasi Yogamayam. O Supreme Great One, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, Master of all mystic power, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these worlds. Who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing your pastimes? No one can understand the mystery of these activities. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.21. Ehi mata krishnera divya saguna ananta Brahma Shiva sanakari napaya yamranta. The spiritual qualities of Krishna are also unlimited. Great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the four Kumaras cannot estimate the spiritual qualities of the Lord. (11) Guratmanas tepi gunan vimatum hitavatir nasya ka ishiresya kalenayar vavimita sukalpar Vupam Sava Kemikika Dhyuvasaha. In time, great scientists may be able to count all the atoms of the universe, all the stars and planets in the sky, and all the particles of snow. But who among them can count the unlimited transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He descends on the surface of the globe for the benefit of all living entities. This verse is also quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.7. Text 12. Brahmari Rahu Sahasra Vadane Ananta Nirantara Gaya Mukhe Napaya Gunerananta. To say nothing of Lord Brahma, even Lord Ananta, who has thousands of heads, cannot reach the end of the Lord's transcendental qualities, even though he is continuously chanting their praises. 13. Nantam vidham yaham ami munayo grahajaste maya balasya purushasya kuto varaye gayam gunan dasa satanan adi deva sesho dunapi samavashanti nasya param. If I, Lord Brahma, and your elder brothers, the great saints and sages, cannot understand the limits of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of various energies, who else can understand them? Although constantly chanting about his transcendental qualities, the thousand-hooded Lord Sesha has not yet reached the end of the Lord's activities. This verse, spoken by Narada Muni, to Narada Muni by Lord Brahma, is also from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.41. 14. Seho Rahu Sarvajnana Shiromani Shri Krishna Nijagunera antana panahaina satrishna. To say nothing of Anantadeva, even Lord Krishna himself cannot find an end to his own transcendental qualities. Indeed, he himself is always eager to know them. 15. Jupataya eva tena yayur antam anantatya samapiyad antaranda nichayana nusarvana kaivara jamsivanti ayasasa hayach srutayas tvaihi falantyatma nirashanena bhavan nidhanaha. My Lord, you are unlimited. Even the predominating deities of the higher planetary systems, including Lord Brahma, cannot find your limitations. Nor can you yourself ascertain the limit of your qualities. Like atoms in the sky, there are multi-universes with 7 coverings, and these are rotating in due course of time. All the experts in Vedic understanding are searching for you by eliminating the material elements. In this way, searching and searching, they come to the conclusion that everything is complete in you. Thus, you are the resort of everything. This is the conclusion of all Vedic experts. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.41, which was spoken by the personified Vedas, is confirmed by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante janavan mam prapajate vasudeva sarvam miti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Even after searching for the absolute truth throughout the universe, learned scholars and Vedic experts cannot reach the ultimate goal. In this way, they come to Krishna. When there is a discussion about the absolute truth, there are always various pros and cons. The purpose of such arguments is to come to the right conclusion. Such an argument is generally known as neti neti, not this, not that. Until one comes to the right conclusion, the process of thinking this is not the absolute truth, that is not the absolute truth, will continue. When we come to the right conclusion, we accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as the ultimate truth. 16. Siharahu Brajayabe Krishna Avatara Tamra Charitra Vicharite Manana Payapara. Apart from all argument, logic, and negative or positive processes, when Lord Sri Krishna was present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead at Vrindavan, no one could find a limit to his potencies by studying his characteristics and activities. 17. Prakrita Prakrita Shristi Kaila Ekakshane Asesha Vaikunta Janda Swasvanata Sane. At Vrindavan, the Lord immediately created all material and spiritual planets in one moment. Indeed, all of them were created with their predominating deities. 18. Emata anyatra nahi suniye adhuta yahara shravane chitta kaya avaruta. We do not hear of such wonderful things anywhere else. Simply by one's hearing of those incidences, one's consciousness is agitated and cleansed. When Lord Krishna was presently in the earthly Vrindavan, Lord Brahma, taking him to be an ordinary cowherd boy, wanted to test his potency. Therefore, Lord Brahma stole all the calves and cowherd boys from Krishna and hid them by his illusory energy. When Krishna saw that Brahma had stolen his calves and cowherd boys, he immediately created many material and spiritual planets in Lord Brahma's presence. Within a moment, cowherd boys, calves, and unlimited Vaikunthas, all expansions of the Lord's spiritual energy, were manifested. As stated in the Brahma Samhita Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi. Not only did Krishna create all the paraphernalia of his spiritual energy, but he also created unlimited material universes with unlimited Brahmas. All these pastimes, which are described in Srimad Bhagavatam, will cleanse one's consciousness. In this way, one can actually understand the absolute truth. The spiritual planets in the spiritual sky are called Vaikunthas, and each of them has a predominating deity, Narayana, with a specific name. Similarly, in the material sky, there are innumerable universes, and each is dominated by a specific deity, a Brahma. Krishna simultaneously created all these Vaikuntha planets and universes within a moment after Brahma's return. The word avadut means rambling, agitating, moving, absorbed, defeated. The word avadhuta means rambling, agitated, moving, absorbed, defeated. In some readings of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, it is said, Yahara Shravane Chitta Malahaya Duta. Instead of the word avadhuta, the word hayaduta, meaning that the heart or consciousness is cleansed, are used. When the consciousness is cleansed, one can understand what and who Krishna is. This is confirmed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Tisham tvanta gatam papam janam punya karmanam tedvanva moha nirmukta vajantimam dridha vrata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Unless one is freed from the reactions of sinful activities, one cannot understand Krishna or engage in his transcendental loving service. 19. Krishna Vatsar Asankyatai Sukha Deva Vani Krishna Sange Kata Gopa Sankhya Nahi Jani. According to Sukadeva Goswami, Krishna had unlimited calves and cowherd boys with him. No one could count their actual number. 20. Eka eka gopakare ye vatsa charana koti arbhura shanka padma tanhara ganana. Each of the cowherd boys was tending calves to the extent of a koti, arbhuda, shanka, and padma. That is the way of counting. According to the Vedic mathematical calculations, the following enumeration system is used. Units: tens, dasa; hundreds, sata; thousands, sahasra; 10,000s, ayuta; and 100,000s, laksha. 10 times laksha is niyuta. 10 times niyuta is koti. 10 times koti is arbhuda. 10 times arbhuda is vrinda. 10 times vrinda is karva. 10 times karva is nikarva. 10 times nikarva is shanka. 10 times shanka is padma. And 10 times padma is sagara. 10 times sagara is antya. And 10 times antya is madhya. 10 times madhya is parardha. Each item is 10 times greater than the previous one. Thus all the cowherd boys who were companions of Krishna had many calves to take care of. 21. Petra Venu Dala Shringa Vastra Alankara Upaganera Yatatara Nahi Leka Para. All the cowherd boys had unlimited calves. Similarly, their canes, flutes, lotus flowers, horns, garments, and ornaments were all unlimited. They cannot be limited by writing about them. 22. Sabhe haila chatur bhuja vaikuntera pati tritak tritak brahmandera brahmakari stuti. The cowherd boys then became four-handed Narayanas, predominating deities of Vaikuntha planets. All the separate Brahmas from different universes began to offer their prayers unto the Lords. 23. Eka Krishna deha hoite sabhara prakashe shaneka sabarsei sarire praveshe. All these transcendental bodies emanated from the body of Krishna, and within a second they all entered again into his body. 24. Ihadeki Brahma Haila Mohita Vishmita Stuti Kari Yei Pate Karila Nischita. When the Lord Brahma from this universe saw this pastime, he was astonished and struck with wonder. After offering his prayers, he gave the following conclusion. 25. Ekahe Krishnera Vaibhava Muni Sabajanon Sejanuka Kaya Mane Muni Ei Manon. Lord Brahma said, if someone says that he knows everything about Krishna's opulence, let him think that way. But as far as I am concerned, with my body and mind, I consider it in this way. 26. Eyi eto mara ananta vaibhavamrita sindhu moravanmano gamya nahe moravanmano gamya nahe eka bindu. My Lord, your opulence is like an unlimited ocean of nectar, and it is verbally and mentally impossible for me to realize even a drop of that ocean. 27. Jananta eva janantu kim bhuktya name prabho manasubha pusho vacho vaibhavam ta vagochara. There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. O my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.38, spoken by Lord Brahma after he had stolen Lord Krishna's calves and cowherd boys, and Krishna had exhibited his transcendental opulence by recreating all the stolen calves and cowherd boys by his Vishnu Murti expansions. After he had seen this, Brahma offered the above prayer. 28. Krishnera mahimarahu kivatara gyata vrindavanasthanera deha ascharya vibhuta. Let the glories of Lord Krishna be. Who could be aware of all of them? His abode, Vrindavan, has many wonderful opulences. Just try to see them all. 29. Solakrosha Vrindavana Shastrira Prakashe Tara Ekadesha Vaikuntha Jandagana Base. According to the revelations of revealed scripture, Vrindavan extends only 16 kroshas, 32 miles. Nonetheless, all the Vaikuntha planets and innumerable universes are located in one corner of this tract. Purport. In Vraja, the land is divided into various vanas, or forests. The forests total 12, and their extension is estimated to be 84 kroshas. Of these, the special forest known as Vrindavan is located from the present municipal city of Vrindavan to the village of Nandagram. This distance is 16 kroshas, or 32 miles. 30. Apara aistarya krishnera nahika ganana Sakha Chandra Nyaye Kari Digdharashana. No one can estimate the opulence of Krishna. That is unlimited. However, just as one sees the moon through the branches of a tree, I wish to give a little indication. Purport. First, a child is shown the branches of a tree, and then he is shown the moon through the branches. This is called Shaka Chandra Nyaya. The idea is that first one must be given a simpler example. Then the more difficult background is explained. (31) Aisvarya kahi tesfurila aisvarya sagara manendriya dubila prabhuhaila fanpara. While describing the transcendental opulences of Krishna, the ocean of opulence manifested in the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his mind and senses were immersed in this ocean. Thus he was perplexed. 32. Bhagavatera egi shloka padila apane artha asvadite shuke karena vyakhyane. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally recited the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and to relish the meaning, he began to explain it himself. 33. Svayam tvasam yatishayas triyadhyasha svaragyalakshmya apta samasta kama valim harad vischira loka halai kirita kotida parapitaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the master of the three worlds and the three principal demigods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. No one is equal to him or greater than him. By his spiritual potency known as Swaragya Lakshmi, all his desires are fulfilled. While offering their dues and presents in worship, the predominating deities of all the planets touch the lotus feet of the Lord with their helmets. Thus they offer prayers to the Lord. Purport. This quotation is verse 21 of the second chapter, third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 34. Parama Isvara Krishna Swayam Parama Isvara Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tate Bharatandra Sama Keha Nahi Ana. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is the greatest of all. No one is equal to him, nor is anyone greater than him. 35. Isvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva Karna Karanam. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the Supreme Controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. This is the first verse of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. (36) Brahma Vishnu Hara E Srishyadi Isvara Tine Agyana Kari Krishnera Krishna Adhisvara. The primary predominating deities of this material creation are Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Nonetheless, they simply carry out the orders of Lord Krishna, who is master of them all. 37. Srajami tan yuktoham haro harati tarvasha vishvam purusha rupena paripati trishakti drik. Lord Brahma said, following the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I create, Lord Shiva destroys, and he himself in the form of Kshirodakshai Vishnu maintains all the affairs of the material nature. Thus the Supreme Controller of the three modes of the material nature is Lord Vishnu. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.6.32. 38. Esamanya trayadhis bharera suna arta ara jagat karanatina purusavatara. This is only a general description. Please try to understand another meaning of the Triadhisha. The three Purusha incarnations of Vishnu are the original cause of the material creation. 39. Mahavishnu Padmanabha Kshirodhaka Swami Eitina Stula Shukshma Sarva Antaryami. Mahavishnu, Padmanabha, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu are the super souls of all subtle and gross existences. Purport. Lord Mahavishnu is known as Karnodaksha Vishnu, the super soul of everything. Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from whose lotus navel Brahma was created, is also called Hiranyagarbha, and is the total super soul and the subtle super soul. Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the universal form and the gross super soul. Text 40. Eitina Sarvastraya Jagat Isvara Eho Sabakala Amsa Krishna Adhisvara. Although Mahavishnu, Padmanabha, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu are all the shelters and controllers of the entire universe, they are nonetheless but plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of Krishna. Therefore, he is the original personality of Godhead. (41) Yasyaikanishvasita kala matavalamya jivantiloma vilaja jagarandanata Vishnur mahanta ihayasya kala vishesho Govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. The Brahmas and other lords of the mundane worlds appear from the pores of Mahavishnu and remain alive for the duration of his one exhalation. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom Mahavishnu is a portion of a plenary portion. Purport. This is a quotation from Brahma Samhita 5.48. See also Adi Lila 5.71. Thus ends our reading for today. Our glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Our glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.